This is Forest Lodge, a new home for Prince William and Princess Catherine. Imagine for a moment, if you were handed the keys to the British royal kingdom, with castles and palaces steeped in centuries of marble and majesty, where would you choose to live? But for William and Catherine, their choice was unexpected. They packed their belongings and prepared to move into a quiet, red brick house nestled at the edge of a forest. Could it be for space to accommodate their three young children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis? Or perhaps this is a strategic move ahead of William's eventual reign. Let's pull back the velvet curtains and take a closer look at this royal retreat. The Prince and Princess of Wales's new home, Forest Lodge, is more than 250 years old. This isn't just a grand mansion designed to impress dignitaries. It's something more subtle, a family home carved into the woodlands with the timeless elegance of Old England, offering the privacy of a country retreat. This is precisely why William and Catherine chose it and are hoping to settle into this new chapter by the end of the year. But with a new home comes a new question. Why leave Adelaide Cottage? Adelaide Cottage, located within Windsor Castle's home park, is a historic residence that has long been associated with the British royal family. In 2022, Prince William, Princess Catherine, and their children moved from their London residence to Windsor, seeking a quieter life. Originally named Adelaide Lodge, the cottage was later called Adelaide Cottage to reflect its casual, smaller size and intended use as a retreat. Although they haven't fully bid farewell to Kensington Palace and still stay at apartment 1A when needed, Adelaide Cottage became their family home. Their move to Windsor was driven by their desire for a peaceful, more private life and to be closer to Queen Elizabeth. Unfortunately, Her Majesty passed away shortly after their relocation. However, other members of the royal family live nearby, including King Charles and Queen Camilla, who divide their time between Clarence House and Highgrove, and Prince Edward and his wife Sophie, who reside at Bagshot Park. But Adelaide Cottage had its limitations. It was too small. There was no room for extra security, no space for guests, and no accommodations for the team that followed them around the clock. Moreover, their family was growing, not necessarily in numbers, but in responsibilities. And those responsibilities, as we know, take up space. Context is key here. This move to Forest Lodge is not just about a change of address. It's about turning the page on one of the most challenging chapters in royal history. The last few years have tested the monarchy in ways no one could have anticipated. First came the heartbreaking loss of Queen Elizabeth II, the family's steady and guiding light. Then, almost as though fate had turned its cruelest hand, both King Charles and Princess Catherine faced cancer diagnoses within months of each other. Catherine, thankfully now in remission, is slowly returning to public life. This move to Forest Lodge feels like more than just a relocation. It's a symbol of renewal, a quiet declaration of resilience. Nestled in the woodlands of Windsor, Forest Lodge offers the kind of privacy and peace the royal couple seeks. It's a place where recovery, reflection, and family can take centre stage. For William and Catherine, this move represents more than simply a change of scenery. It's an unspoken message that life continues even after the fiercest storms. In this way, Forest Lodge stands as a quiet symbol of resilience and a new chapter for the royal family, written perhaps in softer tones, and so the decision to move to Forest Lodge, a property described by insiders as more suited for a working royal household, feels not only practical, but almost inevitable. But why here? Why now? Forest Lodge lies deep within Windsor Great Park, a vast royal hunting ground that has been in use since the days of William the Conqueror. This enormous estate covers nearly 4,800 acres, filled with woodland, lakes, and manicured gardens. The area is rich in history, dating back to the 13th century, when it was used by monarchs for hunting. Forest Lodge offers a unique blend of proximity to Windsor Castle, offering a direct connection to the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II, while also providing a much-needed sense of seclusion. This is a place that offers privacy from the prying eyes of the public, a home large enough for their growing family, free from the constraints of city life. Forest Lodge is not just a home, it's a playground for the young royals. With tennis courts, ponds, and private grounds, it's more than enough to keep Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis entertained. It's the kind of place where Charlotte can indulge her love of tennis, while her brothers can explore and enjoy the great outdoors. The house, originally known as Holly Grove, dates back to the 1770s, when powdered wigs were all the rage and Georgian architecture was considered the pinnacle of taste. It was renamed Forest Lodge by King Edward VII in 1936, the same king who famously abdicated the throne for love. A bold move, certainly, but one that gave the estate a more distinguished name. Over the centuries, Forest Lodge has hosted a range of notable figures, from Sir Malcolm Murray, an aquarist, to Queen Victoria, to Sir William Fremantle, a clerk of the Privy Council, and Sir John Aird, a key figure in British civil engineering. For most of its existence, Forest Lodge has been a private retreat for the powerful and the privileged, but until now it had never served as the official residence of a future king and queen. Unlike other royal residences like Windsor Castle or even Frogmore, Forest Lodge is not open to the public. It's tucked away, shielded by security-patrolled private roads, accessible only to those with permission. It's a place where one might spot a pheasant before a photographer. As part of the move, new fencing, cameras, and additional tree cover have been introduced, marking the area as a newly restricted zone. For years, locals and dog walkers would wander the nearby woodlands, but now access is limited. This has caused some frustration among residents, but security concerns are paramount. However, this change also marks a shift toward a more private, reclusive phase in the lives of William and Catherine. Forest Lodge itself is a classic Georgian structure, symmetrical and dignified, with soft brick walls framed by stucco pilasters, those column-like features that give it a classical air. At first glance, its red brick facade may seem modest for a royal residence, but once inside, it tells a different story. The house boasts 8 bedrooms, ensuring plenty of space for the family of 5, staff, security, and guests, something essential in the world of royalty. 6 chimneys promise warmth for any occasion, and the 9-bay windows allow sunlight to filter into every room, bathing the home in natural light. Despite its royal roots, the Prince and Princess of Wales have decided to maintain their no live-in staff policy here, just as they did at Adelaide Cottage. This speaks volumes about the kind of life they wish to lead, a life grounded in simple pleasures, where bedtime stories and quiet moments in the kitchen hold more weight than formalities. Inside, while photos are not officially available, reports hint at grand reception rooms and a sweeping staircase that could easily belong in a period drama. The mansion's multiple grand spaces reflect a marriage of historical charm with modern-day comforts. Princess Catherine, with her keen eye for detail, has reportedly taken charge of decorating, choosing everything from a grand dining table that seats 24 to colour palettes that reflect her personal style. But don't expect any helicopters or Versailles-style fountains here. The luxury at Forest Lodge is in its privacy. This is a place where the royal family can breathe, free from the watchful gaze of the press. It's about stability, about finding roots in a place that belongs to them, a place of calm where their children can grow up surrounded by nature, away from the noise of city life. The estate itself has been part of the Crown Estate since 1829, and its significance has been officially recognised as a Grade 2 listed building since 1972. While it's undergone respectful updates over the years, its essence remains distinctly Georgian. In 1998, Forest Lodge was even listed for rent, going for around $60,000 a year, approximately $188,000 in today's money. The Crown Estate is an enormous portfolio of properties across Britain, from Windsor Great Park to Regent Street, and even the seabed of the UK out to 12 nautical miles. Technically owned by the monarch in right of the Crown, it's managed independently by the Crown Estate Commissioners, with profits going to the UK Treasury. In 2001, Forest Lodge underwent an extensive $2 million renovation, modernising its interiors while preserving its historic charm. At the time, it was valued at $745 million. But real estate, like royalty, ages, often gracefully, but sometimes extravagantly. Today, should Forest Lodge ever be available on the open market, it would likely be valued at over $22 million. The renovations made by the Prince and Princess of Wales are a private matter, funded out of their own pockets. In a time when royal spending is under constant scrutiny, this decision says a lot. They've chosen a more discreet, more personal approach than, say, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's 2019 Frogmore Cottage refurbishment, which caused a public stir when the sovereign grant paid for the $3.1 million renovation. William and Catherine's choice reflects a desire for privacy and a more independent lifestyle. Inside, Forest Lodge is not about grandeur. It's about family. It's a home meant for real life, family dinners, quiet evenings, and laughter echoing down the hallways. Minor renovations and updates, such as security measures or childproofing, are being funded entirely by the couple, reinforcing their commitment to making this a home for them, not a showpiece for the public. As a listed building, there are constraints on what can be done to the property. No dramatic changes, no modern facades. It's a royal home, yes, but it's also a place where everyday life can unfold. A family choosing their own path, on their own terms, Despite its understated nature, there's something more at play here. Forest Lodge has remained largely unknown to the public, far from the grandeur of Sandringham or Kensington Palace. It's not what you would typically expect from the future King and Queen of England, but perhaps that's the point. In the 1970s, there were rumours that Forest Lodge might be designated for Princess Anne, the Queen's famously no-nonsense daughter. But she never moved in. Later, in the early 2000s, Sarah Ferguson was said to have considered the property after her divorce from Prince Andrew, but again, nothing came of it. Through all the whispers and missed chances, Forest Lodge simply waited, quietly dignified, never seeking attention, always ready for the right royal. Perhaps it was meant to be William and Catherine's home all along, a house that doesn't shout its grandeur, but instead speaks softly through its history, its privacy, and its understated elegance, the very essence of royalty in the modern age. But why not move into Windsor Castle? It's right there, one of the most famous royal homes in the world, steeped in history, grandeur, and public expectation. Why not settle there? Because for William and Catherine, their decision is about more than rejecting tradition. It's about reimagining it. They don't want to rule from thrones. They want to lead from the ground, or at least from the woods. Forest Lodge represents that shift, a place where history and nature coexist, where royal responsibilities meet everyday life. So, what will Forest Lodge become? Will it simply be another royal residence, or will it become something more? Perhaps it will be where the next generation of royals grows up grounded, aware of their role not just as figureheads, but as stewards of history and protectors of the public trust. If you were a future king or queen, would you choose a gilded palace or a forest retreat, where only the birds and the wind know your name? For William and Catherine, the choice has been made, and for Forest Lodge, a new chapter has just begun. What do you think? Would you want to call a place like this home?